Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Hooptalk crew, and we're back for another episode, man. We got a lot of basketball to talk about. We actually got some extra basketball to talk about today. So it's going to be a fun time. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, and comment if you're here early on in the episode because we appreciate all the love. Let's get right into it. It's the same gang as usual. Names will come up somewhere at some point. I don't know. Figure it out during the editing process. But as usual, we're going to start with GM5. Today, we actually got some extra stuff going on in the GM5 and also outside of the GM5. So it's going to be an exciting day of podcasting. But we're going to start with the GM5. We're going to start with our matchups. I did not pull it up in advance, but I'm pretty sure it was Prey versus Count Up was the first game, if I'm not
Yep,
mistaken.
It was.
that is factual.
So let's talk
Man.
about Prey versus Count Up. Who would like to give their 2 cents first?
I can start off.
Yeah,
Prey-
I
Prey
got so much positivity. Go ahead.
Prey didn't do anything different last week. They kind of, we talked about some different ways that they could break a zone, and they did a lot of the same from like the week before. That team they kind of just took turns playing hero ball and driving to the paint. Realistically, they weren't really shooting a whole lot outside of the first quarter, which was crazy because that first quarter, like you were doing pretty well. Ladarius Lee had a couple shots. Andrew Gronigan was looking good, and then you just kind of went back to the same old. You went back to like a few post ups, in the worst possible situations, mid range shots. In transition, they were beating ass, bro. That was belt ass in transition, and Count Up is not necessarily like a quick transition team, so that was weird to. I had to be honest. Man, I don't know. It's just really disappointing. I feel like that there was a lot more that you guys done. I did like how you tried to zone against Count Up as well, and I was wrong. I would have suggested. I thought Count Up wasn't that great of a shooting team. Boy, was I wrong though. I was absolutely fucking wrong that night. I'll tell you for sure.
That morning, I got you, brother. But
It felt like night. I was tired afterwards.
yeah, bro, I took a nap too. It was an exciting day. But I will say this. I think my little ears. I got people have been calling me. I'm gonna call this out of bounds with Pluto's. We're bringing it back. But anybody who ever calls me outside of the GM5, that's what our conversations will be. I might even have to record it sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk to the guys about that. But regardless, Lito immediately called me after the game. Well, messaged me. We were video chatting for a minute, and me and Lito were going back and forth, and we were talking about certain things that he wants to do. Obviously, he's injured. He's got to do some surgery or physical therapy. I'm not sure. Either way, get well. Obviously, we all think that, but mostly it's just the fact that they're running this new offense. They have these new players. His brother is going to be someone who is going to be in this league more. He's definitely going to be taking it up. And as we see, and Lito even admitted to us, his brother's always been a better playmaker, and also a better defender. And I can see shades of that because he's not the biggest guy, but he does get a lot of tap steals. And what I mean by that, when someone blows by, he's able to flip the ball up, and now they're on a fast break,
Like
and that's why
Tommy.
you saw more fast breaks, Tyler, this week because they were getting a lot of tap steals, a lot of deflections that led to 2 point guards now. Because not just Lito, we also have Malik, who's entered the chat now, who's an elite player, who's an elite offensive player. If he's not from Volusia County, he's from Orlando, but he does reside in Volusia, and he's someone who is an elite scorer. Me and Tyler had a side bet. I lost, obviously. I should have known. Should have went with the 10 over. I was
Wait,
close.
let me cut you off real quick. Malik, you might watch the video and think I hate you. I
No,
was
he
betting
doesn't.
against you. That's all it was, just in case. I think you're a great player.
Yeah. We have fun on the sidelines. You might you might
Just
you
in
might
case.
catch a parlay with the podcast. We might talk some shit, but it's not nothing to be negative to no one. It's just our analytical thoughts and how we view shit. So we just argue within each other, and it's not even an argument. It's fun. But regardless, Leak is going to be the addition we've talked that we need a Count Up to have a spark plug. Someone who can come off the bench and instantly is instant offense. Lito did mention he's finding out Johnny can't shoot. That's another thing he told me directly. And that Dennis Diaz, as we saw in the chat, will be returning back to the GM5. Dennis Diaz, if anybody knows him, went toe to toes with Austin Rivers in a playoff game, Florida State playoff game. Went toe to toe with him. I don't remember. I know D-Land lost, but I know that he had a really good game. That game ended up getting a D1 scholarship to Stetson in D-Land. If you know anything about Dennis Diaz, he's a shooter. You add that with Beans, you add that with Malik, you add that with Lulu, you add that with everybody who's there, you're gonna have a team here who's gonna be a lot different than what we're used to. And I don't think they're gonna be defensive based as much. I think this is gonna be a really, really good offensive team with these new additions. And I don't want to take up too much more time, but I do want to talk about Prey. Prey, you have to go with a three guard options at times. When your offense gets stale, you have to throw D Jackson and a couple other shooters in there with one big man. That is my best advice I can give you. You guys have way too many options at way too many positions to kind of be at this big guy lineup that's not working. It's not working. It's not fast enough, and you can't beat a 2-3 if you don't have shooters on the court. You can't have a bunch of guys clogging up the middle on the free throw or the baseline. Those are just flashes to be able to get corner defenders off the corner man, so then the corner shooters can shoot. Only way to beat a 2-3 is in the corners. You guys are not hitting those corners. You guys are trying to beat them through the middle, and that's not going to work because you guys are failing to pass the ball and kick it out because the defense collapsed. You don't guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. You guys don't have a playmaker who is able to find that open man after the offense collapse. There's no one there who's shown that so far on a consistent basis. But those are my two things, my two takeaway from this game for sure.
Because D-Jack lied to us. D-Jack told us he's a pass more.
Yeah, I think I just like I said last week. I think one thing you do not want as prey is for a entire league to feel like there is this easy way to beat you, and right now that's what you're giving the impression that there's an easy way to beat you, and that's a 2-3 zone. I think they could do a lot better, but on the count up side, I mean, obviously they did a great job and they won by a blowout. And shout out to them for putting together that performance. And they definitely will be an offense heavy team because they're continuing to implement, offensive capable players, and we'll see how that goes for them. I think count up. It's a lot of the same team. It's not a gigantic difference. They had Blake for 2 games. You know what I mean? Like it's not a gigantic difference. Johnny isn't playing a gigantic role to where he's taking up a lot of shots or taking up a lot of responsibility. You know what I mean? He's not some number 1, 2, or 3 option. You know what I mean? So like, I think Beans at best is the one that can demand more attention. So that could alter some chemistry maybe. But at the end of the day, I think what Conup is struggling with right now is finding an identity because they've won games, but who have they beat that we're going to be excited about, right? Because when they play the teams that we are excited about, it's been double digit loss every time, right? So it's about figuring out, how can you cement yourself? Because if you're not able to cement yourself in the regular season, you're not going to have the momentum to compete in the playoffs. That's my thing, and I'm not prepared to praise them too much after this win, just because I'm a man of context, and I always have been. I don't value stats or facts until context is provided to me. And when you provide context, the stats and the facts don't look as appealing to me. That's just my personal opinion. And I would like to see them succeed against the better teams. That's what I want to see, and that's when I'll be prepared to rave and to be more positive. But it's a good showing at the end of the day. But Prey just, they haven't looked good. They have the talent. We spoke to Patrick Triolo yesterday. We were at Barnett Park, and they have the talent. It's not like they're a talentless team or incapable team, but you got a guy like Jeff Jean who made us believe that he was a top tier talent in the GM5 last year, to now just not knocking down a shot, taking bad shots, not able to pass. I don't even know if he's passed 12 points this season yet. You know what I mean? So it's like, and that's not me saying a fact. It's just off the top of my head. It's tough. You know what I mean? And I gave suggestions to Patrick yesterday, and I told him, like, straight up, you got to figure out roles. And he said that to us first. So I won't even take that from him. He said that to us first. People got to be comfortable with roles. People got to be comfortable with understanding, like, yeah, we get it. This is not the NBA. This is not, overseas basketball. But it is basketball. It is competitive basketball that you're trying to win. And it requires a thought process. It requires IQ. It requires thinking, not just hooping. Like, you can't just go out there and play and think you're just going to win. You know what I mean? These teams have all the talent in the world. Like I'll use one random example, and it'll be the last point I'll put to see if Prey listens, is you look at Squad X as as they quote-unquote the best team GM5 has ever had. And this is coming from GM5 officials directly. right? You look at that team as that. You look at their a player like Melo, for example, who obviously we rave about as being a phenomenal point guard. Melo averaged 10 points per game that season. You know what I mean? So like that's understanding the IQ of the game, understanding what is needed for us to win games. I can go and get 20. Sure, I could any day. These point guards can't stop me from getting 20 points. But why would I need to do that, right? And I think that's what a lot of players on Prey right now need to understand. I think Djax had the right mindset when the season started, and saying that he was going to be a playmaker. I think you have to now own up to that and be that, because your players like to chuck up shots. Your players like to rush. So how about you create opportunities for them to do that and be a little bit more open, be a little bit more available to take those shots, right? Instead of the unnecessary fast break chucks and the ISO heavy offense and all that stuff, right? Somebody like Lou, how about you play a role that benefits your team a lot more, right? How about you use the big body to set screens and make yourself available as well as teammates? How about you use the big body to post up and make defenses have to crash? How about you use your skills in a way that benefits your team? And that's all it takes. Now, guys like Jeff Jean, Andrew Gronigan, they're going to have an opportunity to have an easier time up to go out there and score. But if everybody goes out there and just tries to do the same thing, you know what I mean? It's like a competition of who can score the most points. And here we have Prey week after week having guys who can barely scratch the surface of 10 and 12 points, you know? So I think that's the biggest thing for them. They got to figure out who is in what role, and stick to it and play through that. And honestly, we're going to talk about it later. But there might even be some changes needed. There might even be some changes needed. We're going into 5 weeks.
On what you said about Romello, we don't even have to go back to Squad X. You can look at OTB last year. They won the championship. Romello was the third leading scorer on the team. He was focused on facilitating. That's what Prey needs right now. You have a bunch of heroes. You have a bunch of great scorers, but nobody is really getting set up, and nobody really wants to play a role that's conducive to winning. Brandon White, one of the biggest wings or centers, however you want to really describe him in the league. I don't really see him ever post up, and from what I understand, he doesn't want to play that position. He wants to play that role. So you really have to start looking at some other options. You guys don't really run any screens. There's no picks. There's really no off-ball movement again outside of Andrew is trying to get open. There's no cutting. Like it's ISO ball, possession after possession after possession, and then you guys wonder why it's not working. You guys aren't really trying anything different. You're not slowing anything down. You're taking bad shots. You're not recovering on defense because you're taking a terrible shot, and they're going to score again consistently. They get an easy layup in transition every time because you're, one, too slow to really get back, and two, you're taking those bad shots to put yourself out of position. I don't know. I don't even think that they need trades. Just really quick, I don't think that they need trades necessarily. I think that people need to figure out that, like, you guys have a coach on the sidelines who can kind of, orchestrate the game. He can control it. He gets to see a lot more than you do, and feed into your role. If not, then some moves will have to be made, I think.
I'm gonna say something because I'm with Nas, but I don't think it takes. I mean, I played at I feel like a decent high level where I don't think it takes to be smart, because I played with some really, really dumb guys. I love you guys. I played with some really, really dumb guys. It takes ego being put aside. And that's the real picture. Like, I see players on that team say, "Give me the ball, watch what I can do," and yeah, they make the first shot, but then they miss the next three, and like that's not that's where coaching, and I respect their coach 100%. I just want to state that, right? But coaching is bigger than just X's and O's. It's the Jimmy and Joes too. And if you see players telling other players, "Give me the ball, watch this," I'm nipping that in the butt, because I'm a big person. Even when I came into Oxley, you can ask my guys. Like, I somehow turned out to be the player coach, but like when I'm talking to them and it's just us in the huddle, I say, "Yo, let's overly pass the ball. Let's make, instead of bad shots, let's make really bad passes." I know that sounds crazy to tell someone to do that, but that just shows me you're making the effort to find the next guy. And beating a 2-3 is just making the right pass. It's not much harder than that. I've played with someone called Tevin Neal, everybody knows, where we literally, in a high school game, we stayed in one spot and beat a team because it's all about making the right pass. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be willing to make that pass. And Nas is right. Instead of Lou posting up the score, Lou posts up, someone crashes, try to identify who crashed and find the open man. Maybe you need to help facilitate with Djax. You know, maybe Djax needs to have some player hold players accountable and be like, hey, bro, that's not the shot we need right now. Because if no one's telling someone, or you guys do it to me, like let's get personal. Like when I fuck up and I'm late somewhere, you guys hold me accountable. And that's obviously made me a better person without these 3 years. And this is even deeper than that. Like you're never gonna change if someone doesn't tell you and you don't take the accept it. And I don't think this really falls on Djax. I don't think this falls on the coach. I don't think this falls on Lou. I think this is a an issue within figuring out that it doesn't take a whole team to score. Hey, let's have 3 primary scorers. Let's have 2 guys who always crash. Don't mean you always gotta get the rebound. You're just always crashing, just to just mess up. Hey Lou, your job is to flash in the middle. Flash every time. Come up as strong as you can. Act like you're getting the ball and flash, because maybe that can take a wing defender to come up, and now you got someone else open. It's accepting who you are now and accepting that role. That's all.
But I think the issue is on what you said. I think they do need the whole team to score, and they're not utilizing the whole team to score.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with that too. I'm saying more so like right now on the court, we have 2 scorers primarily. We need someone who's willing to go guard the best defender. Like things like that. Things that good players do.
I got you.
Romelo, he says we need 10 assists. Even if he doesn't get 10 assists, he's gonna get 8 to 6. Something close to it. We need someone who are applying those actions. And that's what Nas is saying. And I don't think that takes being smart. I think that takes being honest and being okay with, hey, I can't be the number 1 scorer on this team. We see it with someone with like Dom. Dominique was averaging like 35 or something. Well, I lied. I'd be exaggerating. Like 25 points or something like that. But what is he averaging now? What is like 14, 15 points, 16 points a game?
To be fair,
Or,
Dom is starting off really slow.
But they're winning.
Choice, though.
Yeah. But my thing is they're winning, right? They're winning games.
Don't forget the context.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't forget the context.
I know. Of course, but it's still But still, he made a sacrifice, and knowing that he could have went to another team and been the number 1 option. Let's just be real. He could have done that. So I'm pretty sure there's a couple teams that would take Dom and let him take his 20 shots a game.
People just got to take a couple steps back.
Dom is taking the shots, though. He's just missing. He's having a slow start to the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just missing his shots. But
Sorry, Dom.
He picked it up against the Lions and had his 30-piece. But yeah, Dom is 100% the number 1 option in Park Legends. But actually, I guess we won't get to them. They had a bye week. Either way, though, yeah,
he was ready.
Yeah, I was ready. I was ready. Listen, we haven't had many disagreements in a long time, so I was prepared to disagree on that one and hold tight. But they're not playing, so I guess we'll just move on from that. Try it again next week. But yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I think changes are needed, but we'll talk about that in a second. City Ballers versus Lions was the next game. What is there really to say? I mean, shout out to City Ballers. Unfortunately, this game came around my little brunch break because it was /breakfast/lunchtime. So I didn't get an opportunity to stay tapped into every single moment of this game. But, I mean, what is there to say? This is going to be my key word for the rest of the season. It's context. City Ballers won their first game, and I am very hopeful for City Ballers, and I believe City Ballers has the talent level and the capabilities of succeeding over time if they can just figure it out mentally. I think they have the ability to succeed, but the context is going to be my key word for the rest of the season. The 2025 word of the year for GM5 is context, and I'm not going to sit here and rave so much about it. You know what I mean? What is there to say? The Lions got blown out again for the 5th week in a row. And City Ballers got to win against the Lions. What is there to say? If you guys got something to say, shoot your shot.
Hold up. Because we did critique Park Legends for almost losing to the same Lions team, and we did acknowledge that this Lions team is improved. I like what I saw in City Ballers. They went out there, they went against the team that they were scheduled to go against, and they beat them like they were supposed to. I like that. What I saw from City Ballers that game was an improvement. You know, if it stays that way, I don't know. But I got to see, Phil wasn't really upset that game. Kevin was, doing that role where he was, getting the boards. He was facilitating really well. He was inside. I don't know. City Ballers look good. They did what they were supposed to. And I don't think it's fair to just say that. I understand the Lions are not doing well, but you have to acknowledge that City Ballers composed for the first time.
All I got to say is, man, shout out my Ninja Gucci. Shout out Gucci. That's all I got to say. That's all I got. If you get the context, you get the context. If you don't, you don't. Shout out Gucci. That's all I got to
All I'm
say.
saying is, all I'm saying is, my dog Phil told me if I wear a Dewey while I play, I will hit about 4 to 5 threes and not know how much I scored in the game because I did so well, and not even care about the fact that y'all see this was the one he wore, but and not even care. I didn't even watch it. He didn't even care about his points. He was, and you guys know what he asked us. We're not going to bring it out because I don't think he wants it. He's not ready for it to be released. But the first question he asked us is, "How can this team get better?" But we know how he acts, and we know what he acts. I do want to shout out another player who reached out to me. Was out of bounds with me is Mr. Kevin himself. I think what Nas is missing as well, and I mean you were eating Nas, so you didn't get to really see. But Kevin was their point guard um, by far the whole time. And I think they finally submitted to that. And I think this is something you said and you brought up, and you said that Kevin is a great playmaker. When you have all these shooters, Marquise was hitting. He heard something. I'm sorry. There's no way he didn't hear us say that he needs to go. Phil, he threw a pass to Phil. Phil didn't even know the pass was coming. He was wide open, hit him in the back. I know Tyler recalls. Trap doing things that Trap does. They looked finally like they had an identity. Now, what they add to it or what they do, and we'll talk about that later, is important as well. But I think they have somewhere they have something they can lean on now. I think Phil had a really, really good game, and I think Phil didn't understand how much was taking off his shoulder by not having to dribble the ball up and having to find someone. I don't think Phil's ever really had it to where it's easier for him. Like, I think Phil's one of those guys who thinks he needs the ball to create for something for everybody or for himself. I think him having to be off the ball and him just more worried about playing good defense and just getting his open shots was really well. And I think Kev's going to be a problem eventually because he's one of those players that's a unicorn. He says it, a hybrid, where he is technically a power forward, but he's really a point guard when he plays at home. Overseas, he told me that he's really a playmaker. He's really a point guard, and you just got to use his strengths to his ability. I think he had like 3 threes, and he really wasn't trying to shoot the ball. And he told me that he was just more so worried about the pecking order. And I think they know it now. Whatever moves they make, whatever they decide to do moving forward, would be actually exciting too. With the move that he told us about, but to talk about the Lions, I mean the Lions, OJR right now. That's the words I'm gonna say. OJR. OJR did not win a game that last year. The only thing I want the Lions to do is to win a game. And I mean that it's it did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many games?
2 or 3.
2.
Sorry, you guys kind of stray. I still don't want you to be OJR. Forget it.
I got to research, bro.
So I'm sorry. I still don't want you to be OJR because they won. I'm pretty sure those games the other team really wasn't there. I'm more than certain that it wasn't like they beat a team that was fully rostered. I'm pretty sure. I'm more than certain. You guys can maybe look into it, but I'm riding on that heavy. But regardless,
that is not an assumption, ladies and gentlemen. I want to make sure we do not get fined again. That is not an assumption. That is Pluto unwilling to accept that he was wrong. All right, TP, do not fine us. All right, Pluto was wrong. OJR won 2 games, and he's trying to add more information.
OJR beat Worldwide last year. I want to let you know that, Pluto. OJR beat Worldwide
was probably not full roster. I'm more than certain.
It was like 89 to like 80 something.
Please do not fine us. These are not assumptions. These are not assumptions. Please do not
I don't want you to
us.
be a bad team. I don't want you to be a bad team. That's my whole point. You can't find us for that. They were a bad team last year. So what? Shoot me. Regardless, I just feel like they need to do something. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's. I can't really tell you what it is at this point because they've done everything they could to get better, and it's just like still not a product we want.
No, they haven't. They've done everything that they can to get better.
I missed that last part.
We gave them a bunch of names.
Say that again.
We gave them a ton of names that they could recruit from the Oxley to get better, and they haven't. They've added 3 wings who don't really have the facilitation skills. They don't have leadership skills. So like, did they do everything to get better? No. Did they do something to get better? Maybe. But I can't say they did everything. They didn't exhaust every resource. We gave them a list of 3 names that are like 3 streets down from them. We could pick them up right now.
I think there's rules though that I think they
can enter the combine.
They can get something. I think she was. I mean, the coach was telling me she can't make any more moves But I don't know if that's specific to like her only wanting to play with her
Josias and
individuals.
Pringle are going to be gone soon, and they're your 6-set players. It's 2 6-sets right there you can use. Along with that, you can have someone enter the combine,
ahead,
and
Tyler, go
obviously, like they can get picked up. But like
And
you
there's
might be able to
available.
talk with them. Like we say, Lito talks.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
available players, from previous 6 sets that could definitely make a difference for them. I mean, they are
Dom?
in talks with Don Williams, so shout out to them for making the effort to make something like that happen. I have my opinions on the caliber of move that is, but maybe we'll save that for another day because maybe I'll just watch to see what happens. And then I'll choose to give my opinion. So that way I have context, right? Consistency. So one thing I will say is I agree they have not exhausted all their resources. They have utilized a few of their resources, but you have to do more. You know what I mean? And maybe it's too late. That's a possibility. Maybe you came in here with a full roster of players who you believed were going to be able to compete, and at this point, it isn't easy to just uproot an entire roster and make the changes. So there's a chance we are in a situation where it's just too late. There's a chance we're in that situation. Who knows? But they have options available to them, and we'll see how that goes. I'm going to read the rule book to see what exactly are the limitations. I'm sure there are limits in regards to how many moves,
There
and
has
free
to be,
agents,
yeah.
and trades, and all that. I'm sure there's limits to that. I do know, for example, when it comes to their 6-set spots, they're going to have to reach out to previous 6-set players. They can't fill those unless it's another 6-set player. And there are some available out there that were not able to come back to GM5 this year. But in all honesty, I don't know if I could think of someone who actually moves the needle. It makes them get closer to finally moving the needle. It gets them a step closer to the needle so they can pick it up to move it. But I don't think there's a player yet that actually moves that needle from my personal memory that I can think of. So it's gonna be
But they
tough.
need anything. They got to make a move. We can't say that there might not be anybody and then they don't make a move. Like we saw Jet last night from City Ballers, who potentially might be able to be a 6-set player out. But that's a great pickup for them. Someone with size inside. They don't have a center. Like they just
don't.
they gotta
They
do
don't.
something. Just something, please. I don't.
Yeah.
If we go 6 weeks, Mercy Rule, you guys have not done enough to like you have not exhausted all of your resources. You haven't figured something out. I'm sure at some point you could beg TP to like just let you put someone on the team. I'm sure at some point because TP also does want a competitive league.
Yeah.
Like there's no denying that. Nobody wants to see a team get blown out this much. But like use all of your resources, exhaust everything. Because I don't know if Dom is coming back from when I talk with him. Dom is not sure if he's coming back yet. Dom doesn't know if his ribs are good to go yet. So like you kind of banking on that, and we don't even know.
What is the info on what's the update on that, y'all? Do you guys have some?
That's the update. That's the
Yeah,
update. I
you
spoke with
still on the
Dom.
up? No. I'm just
No.
I wanted more context. That's what I was asking. Like, is he like 80%, 70%? Like, what's his status? Like,
Oh, I don't want to. I don't know how HIPAA works. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't want to go into too much.
okay.
But from when Dom told me, one of his ribs is like not doing too well, and he hasn't fully cleared himself. He's still slowly working out, but he hasn't gotten to like full basketball activity yet or anything. He's eyeing next month, and
Okay.
that's 4 more games.
The biggest issue with injuries at this type of level is guys just don't have the resources available to really get themselves a true diagnosis and get themselves genuinely checked out to where they can really figure it out. They got to figure it out based on their own pain tolerance, based on their own, and it's like that's never safe. You know what I mean? It's never safe, and I always encourage players. If you're playing basketball at such a regular basis, you might want to really sit down and think about your insurance plan. I really do genuinely believe that because, some players, they're just playing for the hell of playing, and some players are playing because they want to achieve something later on. Regardless of what option it is, if you're playing basketball in leagues, organized leagues with referees and rules and competition consistently, it's not in your best interest to let these injuries just heal up on their own, you know what I mean? Or just go see a doctor just to tell you what you have and then you figure out what the best treatment plan is. I encourage a lot of these players, and obviously, it's a lot of factors to consider, finances and all that kind of stuff, but I urge a lot of these players to take their health a lot more seriously, and some of them do. I'm fully aware of that. Some of them do, improve their insurance plan or research best ways to keep themselves healthy and physically fit. I know that for a fact. But I hope
Shout out
Dom is
Melo.
doing the same as well as other players around the area. But I imagine that's the last of it, right, for that game, or did you guys have more to say there?
Be better.
I wanted to add on to something. If you need insurance, I'm your guy. Next year, I'm helping people under 65. So if you need insurance from those basketball leagues, hit your boy up. I got you.
Do you only help
Yeah,
people
we're
over
scamming
65?
over here.
I usually only typically, well, this last year, man, I was working I've always worked over 65, but I'm gonna start my own little my book. So, and I did it specifically because these leagues and people get hurt. So if anybody wants either really cheap insurance or no premium at all, and you're like Nas says, you're playing a lot of ball, hit me up. I got you.
Atlanta plan
Shameless
A and
plug
plan
right
B.
there.
Atlanta plan A, plan B is crazy.
Well, we got game number 3 on the line here. We got Vipers versus Dream Chasers. This was the eighth straight mercy rule for GM5, going all the way back to week 3. And I guess if you didn't tap into the games, you're gonna find out today if that was the last one. I don't know. We'll find out. But it was Vipers versus Dream Chasers. They were able to take that win by 25. Dream Chasers missing some talent, unfortunately. Vipers technically also missing some talent, but that did not impact the game as much as Dream Chasers would have hoped. Um, Jose out for Vipers. Kel Williams out for Dream Chasers. What do you guys think about that game? What did you see? What were your ups and your downs?
It hurt without Kel, man. It's defensively, they can't do much without him, and even with him, they don't do much. I think they play. I don't think they. It's not really like a cohesive unit that plays together very well. You hear them arguing on the sidelines a lot. There's players who I really like that show flashes that I really want to see more, but it's like week 4 and they haven't done anything. Like Neville, he looks really nice every time he gets the ball, but he only got 4 shots over the last 2 games. And I bet you if we get the stats, maybe he got like 3 shots this. But he looked nice in those limited flashes. You guys got to try something different. What you've been trying just hasn't been working. I'm gonna ask TP this actually, so maybe I'll have an answer by the time this. Maybe you know, Nas. When you do a trade, does it have to be a 1-for-1 or could it be like a 2-for-1? Could you trade 2 players to 1?
I don't know rule wise. No, I don't know.
All right, I'll have to find out. But I would look to expand your roster. I think that would help tremendously because what you have right now, it's better. I can't even say it's better than the Lions. I don't know if it is. I don't know. But Vipers is my team. I'm going to tell you wholeheartedly.
Well, they didn't get mercy ruled 1 week, so I would say that automatically does make them better than the Lions.
Man. Anyways,
There.
God.
But also, wait, before you say anything, the Lions also played very well against Park Legends as well.
And then got mercy ruled.
Pretty similar. Okay.
Hey, they get mercy ruled. But my thing with the Dream Chasers is you're right. With or without these players that are missing, it's still the same arguments. It's still the same back and forth. There's never an argument how we're gonna win. It's always an argument in this league of what I can do. But what you're doing is not helping anybody win. And you're in a league where people pay a lot of money, I would say. I think a lot of people would say. Yeah, go ahead.
It is helping the other team win very consistently.
It's tough. You know what I'm saying? My boy looks at the glass half full, not empty. I love it. But
such a troll,
isn't he? But regardless of the fact, I just feel like a lot of the times Dream Chasers are in their own like arguments and battles, and then you have certain players going at it with other players who are up by 20. They don't care what you're saying. And I think the realism of this team is that they're not cohesive and they're not a team and they're not working as one. They don't have an identity. Without Kels, they're not as good defensively. And it's no shade to no one. And I'm not saying anybody's bad. I'm just saying you guys aren't working together. And I think you guys need to implement a coach on that team. I think a coach needs to be added there. And if not, someone who's a non-biased, who's not a player, who can be like, yo, this is what I see. You're doing this wrong. He's maybe right, but instead of the players going at it, you have someone who can be that mitigator, who can hear someone out and see, hey, maybe this is going wrong. Maybe we should try putting you here and you doing this. Because when you have 2 players going at it, it just doesn't work. It's not really good. It's not cohesive, and you're another player could feel like you're taking a dig at what he's doing. Like, yo, you took too many shots. Like, we're down by 20. I'm making all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been there. So I get that, but I think they need a mitigator. I think, or a player who doesn't play a lot who can be the mitigator and step and be a leader on the bench. But Dream Chasers aren't going to be able to do nothing with just the personality types they have. It has nothing to do with skill set. I think they're skillful players, but I just don't think they work together. Um, on the other hand, the Vipers look good. You guys called it from the beginning. They look well, and seemingly enough, when they get into it, they have a coach on the bench who doesn't even really game plan. He's just a mitigator for those boys. Like, none of the coaches in this league are watching film. I mean, let me not say, like, I mean, watch out. Maybe someone is watching film, but no one's like game planning. We're running this play. You get what I'm saying? They're more mitigators. Hey, we're leaving this gap open to 2-3. It's your fault and your fault. Y'all need to pick it up. Like, that's the difference between having a communication style that's effective, and the Vipers have that. When someone's wrong, the other person lets them know, whether it be yelling, whether it be talking, but the other person lets them know. City Ballers did it this weekend where someone got mad at someone else. We saw it with NWO. They were Bulb and CJ were arguing, but they went to the side, spoke about their differences. This is what's going on. And with a personality like Berga, who's very like, mute personality where he kind of just lets them get through their emotions, it works for them because they have someone they can go to complain to. They have someone who they're going to get mad at versus doing it to their own teammate. So I think the Vipers in general just work together. They have a team that's very, very cohesive. They played together before, like Nas says. And you have players that are willing to make the extra pass, willing to work together, make shots. And the thing about the Vipers is that, like, you guys are right. This is a scary team for a good team to play because they're gonna hustle their ass off and they're gonna be in the mix, whether you want them to be or not. That's true. But yeah. Shout out to the Vipers. A great team win. I think it was a great team win for sure, for sure. That's all I can say.
Fun to watch.
Yeah.
Was all also on top of that, Zay could only miss what was it? We talked to them. It was 2 more games, and then he's not even able to make the playoffs. So man, that's going to be a big part as well. I really like the Vipers, but if you're not fully squatted up, I don't know.
Yeah, but the it's not like it's a mystery. We knew this was gonna happen with Zay, It's not something that was a secret in the
He's
GM5. He
still part of the
travels a
team
lot.
though.
He is a part of the team, but I think knowing who they know and who they got on their team, I think they know they're expecting. I think they should have a game plan for this. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody who's smart who knows that Zay has a lot going on that is productive and awesome for the community, like they should know. Like they should know. I'm not really too worried about that. I don't think they are either. Really don't.
I
Shit, I'm
was
worried about it. If my best player is not going to be there in the playoffs, I'm worried. What?
I
He's
was
never here. And they win.
I was muted during my last spiel there because I've been coughing, so I mute myself so nobody can hear it. You guys can hear it because you can hear me through Discord, but they cannot. So I was muted during my last spiel, unfortunately. I'm not going to repeat it. You guys are just going to have to hear that silence. Overall, I was just saying, no, you guys can hear me on Discord, but the recording, I'm muting myself so the people can't hear my cough. So just so you guys understand what's happening. Yeah, so all they're going to see is my mouth moving and me not saying any words. So I wanted to explain so you guys understand what just happened. We did not have technical issues. Nas forgot to unmute himself. But I was just summarizing it. I think the Vipers are great. They could be a top 3 team, and hopefully they're going to be fully rostered for these big matchups with the rematch with OTB and their upcoming matchups with NWO. Tyler made a reference that, if he doesn't make it for the rest of the season, or if he misses 2 more games, he's going to be out for the playoffs. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I do agree, though, with what Tyler's saying in the sense of I don't think what if what they've done so far to mitigate his absence is what they will do going forward, I would have to say that is not enough to compete with the teams that are favored to go to the finals, right? I don't think that's enough in my personal opinion, but I still do think the Vipers are a great team. I do still think the Vipers can do enough if things work out well, but with a player like Zay, you don't have to always rely on everything working out. You can have the confidence of saying Zay will be here to do his job, and now everybody has to step up. You know what I mean? Zuldo is a consistent scorer, so he's going to be there to do his job. Then you're looking for others to step up. Yeah, so you're always looking for others to step up at that point. So it's going to be tough. You're definitely always going to miss your best player, or what you consider one of your best players. I don't know how they view it. That's just my opinion, but.
Zlato's got one role in that team, and it's get buckets. That's it. Nothing else.
Buckets. A professional bucket getter.
Yeah, he's tough. Yeah. But the game of the season, game of the week, which we tried to do some special stuff there for that game, and it was also the game right after the ring ceremony where OTB was presented with their championship rings from 2024. Excuse me. On the bench versus New West Orlando. There was a moment in time there where it was looking kind of sketchy for on the bench. We were starting to look into the realm of is OTB about to get blown out? But I always believed that that was not going to happen. I think in the long run, I knew it was going to be a close game or a competitive game. There was some unfortunate stuff, and I actually want to give my 2 cents on this game first. Ending score was just a 5-point differential. NWO won that game by 5. I obviously had OTB winning that game. I think I said it was I can see them winning by 2 or 3 possession game. I believe that's what I said, something around that realm. Obviously, I made the jokes that OTB would blow them out because they're on a streak of mercy rules. I did not mean that. I mean, if you watch the full podcast, like some people apparently don't do, you would realize I did mention that I was just joking. I do think it's going to be a close game, and I was correct. It was a 2-possession game, 2-possession game. Just went the other way. It went to NWO instead. So I was wrong on that, but it was a close game, and I'm more than happy to be wrong on close games. Being wrong on blowouts is when things feel a little shitty. But it was a close game, and it was good. I'd say NWO, man, they're a tough team, bro. They're a tough team. They just have such good basketball players. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a good unit of basketball players. I don't think there's ever anything that I see out there that's like needs to be improved, even in the areas where they're not the strongest, because I've noticed they've started to run a big man next to AJ, and I would say debatably that's not their strongest position out there, but they're able to make it work so well in all the other positions, and I'm not trying to sound offensive, I'm just saying 1 through 4 they're top heavy. You know what I mean? You're talking about Bo, we talk about Alex Sanchez, Rod Lawrence, and AJ, and Tommy Dennis coming off the bench, man. That is a top heavy ass team, but that's a lot of fucking weight to have to carry. You know what I mean? Like, you talk about top heavy, they're the top heaviest. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough, man, to beat them. Tommy is annoying to deal with, to have to guard, to have to be on the offensive end because you never fucking know where he's gonna come from. Reminds me of fucking Jose Alvarado. You just never fucking know where he's at. You know what I mean? And Bulb is just Bulb is a headache, bro. It's hard to play. And I didn't even mention John Kerry, bro. John Kerry is a spark plug. He's just so good at just being out there playing hard, doing all the little things that matter, getting the points that matter when they matter. And I mean, there's not enough I can say about Rod and AJ. That's just a duo for the ages. You know what I mean? That's one hell of a duo right there. AJ's not having the season he was having last season, but that's what we were talking about other teams previously, is know what needs to happen for you to win. You know what I mean? And AJ, that's what I mean by the IQ of the game, understanding the landscape of your team, understanding the landscape of what's going on here. If I go out there and I try to drop 20, 25, 30 every single night, somebody's going to be unhappy. Tommy's not going to get his shots. We know what Tommy does when he's unhappy. all types of chairs getting smacked around. You know what I mean? Tommy's not going to get his shots. Rod's not going to get his shots. And I respect the hell out of AJ for going out there and just playing within the game. You know what I mean? He's come off the bench for half the season. You know what I mean? He's come off the bench, and I still haven't taken the time out to ask him about it, Berger specifically. But I can rave about it all season long. OTB didn't do anything wrong per se. It's a battle of the giants. You know what I mean? It's an immovable force, or I'm sorry, what is it? The immovable object meeting the unstoppable force. You know what I mean? It's like who's gonna budge first. And this time it was NWO. OTB, I think the only thing I'll say about OTB because Melo had a rough start. He couldn't get shots to fall in the beginning. Second half, he picked it up. He did his thing. And that's when the lead started dwindling down, when Melo started waking up and started making his shots. Overall, I'd say everybody did their thing, but I think they focused too much on that score issue there in that fourth quarter. They're most likely going to disagree with me. They're most likely going to disagree with me. They may not think it's a big deal. They may not think it mattered at that moment. They were more concerned about tying up the game, which they believed should have been the correct score. The table had it, NWO up by 1. That's what they ended with. They decided on NWO up by 1 instead of tie game. There was so much time left in the game. There was no need to spend that much time creating frustration within yourself, creating a sense of everybody's against me, because that's what it gave off. That's the vibe Bubba gave off to me. Everybody's against us. They don't want us to win. And that energy starts spilling to your players. And that's when things start falling downhill. Now it's a matter of we're not just playing the 5 players on NWO. We're also playing against whoever you think is out there to get you. You know what I mean? And that's a mentality that's not going to help. So I do believe they spent too much of their energy trying to focus on that. Once the decision was made, you have to just let it go. In the process of coming to a conclusion, you can argue, you can present your case. But once the decision was made, it was just you gotta bring the energy back to winning. You know what I mean? I think Pink did a good job of trying to do that. He started clapping it up. He started telling his teammates, "Let's win this fucking game. Let's not worry about it." But I don't know if I'm confident that mentally everybody that was out there had that mentality. I don't think I'm confident in saying that, and I think that's a factor. But at the end of the day, after that instance, I think NWO got another double-digit lead for a short period of time. You know what I mean? After that happened, NWO got another double-digit lead. So now that score doesn't matter. That double-digit lead wouldn't have just happened anyway. You know what I mean? So, like, it's tough. That's what I would say. OTB, I don't think they did anything wrong per se. I think NWO played great. And you would expect one team to look lesser. That's what you would expect. One of the 2 great teams has to look less great in order for the other team to win. That's how it's going to work out. And I think OTB was the team that looked less great than they usually do, and they lost. That's all it is.
It's just less great, too, because OTB still looked great.
Exactly.
They started slow. And you mentioned that, you're crazy, because you mentioned that Melo started off slow. You're not talking about Rod, who also started off slow. They were guarding each other very well. That's some of the best defense I've seen played on either of them. I'm not going to say either of them really got the edge over that. The team showed up. And I think the issue is, like you had mentioned, OTB kind of fell into that same thing that City Ballers does a lot with, like, Phil. When he gets upset, you drain the whole team with you. Everyone is getting dragged down, and you get kind of lost. NWO is such a strong team because they are so willing to accept their roles. To the fact where, like, I really do think if you put CJ, Cornelius, if you put him on another team, I think that he could be a fantastic starter. That guy is a high-energy player. He's a great defender. He rebounds. He puts his head down. He just does everything it takes to win, but he's coming off the bench most of the time for you. Or when he's starting, he's not really getting many touches. But that's how it works. That's how Bulb plays. That's how AJ plays. That's how everybody... Rod is taking less shots than last. He's more on that defensive end. He even said that he... Like, that team just bought into that system so well, and they're listening to Berga, and they're firing all cylinders. OTB was missing a player. I don't necessarily know if the result would be different if Keith wasn't there, though. I really do think that NWO played them so well, where I don't know if that there's gonna be any difference.
I don't think it would be. I don't think it would be. I think NWO had a speed about their game that was very hard to match for OTB, and I don't believe Keith would have improved that. But I think the game results would have been similar. Maybe you could say it would have been closer than it was, but it was already a close game. 5 points. That's the best I'd say. But one last thing I'll say, and then I'll let Orlando, because one thing I forgot to mention is AJ had himself a game. AJ had himself one hell of a game. We talk about him making sure he fits into a role, not even a role. He's not doing that per se, but making sure he fits into what the team needs. You know what I mean? And you can kind of call that a role in a sense. And he's been doing that, but when it's time to make it happen, when it's time for the big moment, AJ said, Rod's not doing it right now. And I feel that. That's okay, Rod. You can have these days. You're being guarded by one of the best defenders this league has to offer. And you're doing your job of stopping him from getting off as well. So listen, keep playing defense. I got you on offense. I'll carry the load. You've been doing it for us this whole time. Tommy, you've been doing it for us this whole time. But Berger decided to take you out after hitting 3 threes in a row. We were asked to mention that. We were asked to mention that. I don't know who asked us, but we were asked to mention that. So AJ said, listen, Tommy, Berger wants to sit you down after you were hot from 3. I got you, bro. I'll make a 3 my damn self. And then he turns around to the crowd. He starts hyping everybody up. I think his family was there sideline, if I'm not mistaken. Overall, man, great performance by NWO. Shout out to y'all. You proved me wrong. I had OTB winning. And listen, I apologize. I'll never doubt you again.
I'll take that out.
Yeah.
I like both teams, to be fair, though. I just had to pick one or the other.
Yeah. So, Nas, you said you were right? I was righter because I had NWO by 4 and they won by 5. So, I would have won that prize. Whatever the prize is. I know. That's why I said it. But regardless, though, when it comes to NWO, they're the perfect team for OTB. There was a specific play that me and Bulb talked, and it kind of put me. And again, I showed him his flowers. I apologize. I think defensively, and I'll say it here, Berto, shout out to you. I love you to death. I think defensively, Paul is years away from Bulb is years away from Berto, but he admitted that Berto's a better offensive player. But I'm kind of sold on Bulb now. There was the play I'm referencing is, and Tyler knows what it is, where Melo stole the ball in a 50-50. And Melo has this weird knack of winning 50-50 balls. But Bulb met him
back.
and it was the same thing that Nas says in the beginning. The unmovable force or the unstoppable force with the unmovable, whatever the hell he was saying. That saying was literally that play right there.
A for effort.
It was, and me and Tyler were like, whoa, because Melo is the 50-50 guy. He's gonna outwork anybody. And I think when you have Tommy, you have Bulb, you have an array of defenders you can keep throwing at Melo to make him uncomfortable. But we know Melo's not a scorer. But I do got to think Rod take the edge. Rod hit a very, 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 very clutch 3 towards the end of the game that I think made his game kind of better than Melo's when it came to who played better. Rod hit a couple more clutch shots than Melo there towards the end. But we all know that's what he does, right? He delivers at the end. But I do want to highlight something, and it's funny because I'm listening to Nas talk, and I'm thinking like, man, if players could be more like AJ. And I just thought about Nick. And I just thought about all these players complaining about their roles and who they are and what they bring. But the only thing they're bringing is losing. Because AJ, since the beginning of the year, since the beginning when we noticed that AJ was coming off the bench, he hasn't yelled. He hasn't got mad. He hasn't said, why not me? He just goes on the court and delivers. And I think that's awesome, bro. And I had to really think about it. I was like, there's not a lot of players who can be like, you know what? I know there's not, and we know it. We can say it out loud. There's no one in that starting 5 better than AJ. He's an MVP caliber player. There's no one in that starting 5 better than AJ.
He's top 2 player in the league, and
arguably
number 1.
Yeah, when he wants to be. And now you have a player like that, and he's leading by example.
Did he win MVP last year?
Huh?
Yeah.
I'm just saying MVP caliber because
I was just asking. No.
But no, he's MVP caliber because he could win it year over year. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And when you have a player like that just is sacrificing, like
Thought with the stray, bro, for no reason.
We can't that stray, man. Sorry, I caught a stray because of it, so he catches a stray. Shooter shoot back. But yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, AJ is an example of what you look for in a basketball player, head to toe, man. And he's leading by example. He's not, and AJ is a vocal dude, but he's not a vocal leader. I think that's more of like, the Tommies and things like that. Believe it, I can't believe I'm saying that. Tommy is a great vocal leader for that team. When
No, I
he's
think
not
AJ
playing, he
is
gets
very
over.
vocal.
Yeah.
I think AJ is very vocal.
AJ and Tommy are the ones that hear
Yeah,
the most.
AJ is one of the biggest talkers on the team. Yeah, he's very vocal.
And CJ, you crazy if you don't think CJ.
No,
Like, you gotta put him up there.
CJ really is. I was about to actually get
I wanna
this
win.
right now. CJ was. CJ's different, boy. He's wired different. Because you're right. He's got that Dennis Rodman-esque to him. Like, he don't give a fuck. After how it's done, I want it done. And literally, they're up by like 10 points. He comes to the bench. Tyler, say it again.
Yo, he at one point they're up by like 13 and he's yelling at Rod for like a screen that he had set. And like that's the energy that you really want on your team, though. You want people to hold you accountable. Rod didn't have a bad game. I don't think he had a bad game, but like you want people to check you. You want people to hold you accountable. I love that.
Yeah,
CJ's their coach on the bench.
Yeah, but I want to shout out Tommy, man. Tommy, once he gets over the fact that he's not in the game anymore and he's not playing, and he kind of just regroups and takes his little walk from out of bounds through the hallway, comes back down the hallway, comes out the door. Once he comes back, bro, he becomes a vocal leader, and they need it. He's there with Berger, screaming with Berger. Him and Berger going like they're going and they're like doing their thing and dissecting it together. And there's not a player better than Tommy to dissect the defense. I'm sorry, he's the best weak side defender in this league. He did it again this week. But now I this is where I know Mello, you do your thing where you tune in and you timestamp us, and you walk by us and you say, City Ballers, or they're doing this, or we'll timestamp this, Mello. Win the championship because right now I got NWO. Come by me and tell me you got it. Lock in, brother, because you got every piece to do it. And I'm not trying, you know that, but I'm saying I really got NWO. Berger hit me, and another person hit me up after the game. Berger hit me up. He asked me what my shirt size is, and I said 2XL. All right, 2XL.
We fat boys over here. We fat as hell. All of us.
All I'm saying is, Mello, this is because I don't really have a lot of negatives. You guys didn't have everybody. I can't judge it off that. You know what I'm saying? You guys still played an excellent game. Luke didn't have really a Luke game, but he did make some tough shots. You guys were in it, right?
Luke had a good game. He had like 4 threes.
Yeah.
There we go. But technically it's a bad game for Luke because Luke usually has like fucking 6 or 7 threes. Technically, it's down for him.
That's about what he's
been hitting.
The
one time he had 9.
Yeah, that was it. He's been hitting 4 or 5 threes every game.
The next is medium. But anyways, the whole point I'm trying to say is, Mello, I think if they win, it's up to you, just like it was last year, just like it is this year. Just refocus, get into it, and I'm down for the slides. You can walk by me and tell me NWO, or if you win, you get me a shirt too. Either or, you know what I'm saying? I'm a flip flop. I love to do it.
Yeah, how do we get free jerseys? Listen, we will wear any jersey if we get them for free. I'm letting you guys know. I will advertise any team.
No facts.
Anywhere.
I'll advertise whatever you guys want.
I love jerseys.
Shirts,
I'm
jerseys.
fat as hell. I'm warning you real quick. So if you give me those tight ass line jerseys, they're not gonna work. I'm too fat. They're not gonna work.
It's not going to be an XL. It's not going to be an XL, Ariana.
I'm
not going to be
that big boy.
All right, but that was the last game. Oh, sorry. You saying something else?
No, you're good. You're good. Let's talk shit.
Let's get into the real discussion.
Yeah, that was the last game of the week, man. And the GM5 trade deadline, I guess you have to call it, is approaching, where teams are starting to reach that time where they can no longer make more moves, so they have to start thinking about what is next and what can they do to finish this season strong, man. A couple of teams, I won't say a lot, a couple of teams have voiced their openness to listening to offers. Off the top of my head, I know Prey is open to listening to offers. I know City Ballers will always be open to offers. I've never seen a season of Phil where he's not just talking about trying to get a trade all season long. So even though they didn't say it, I know for a fact City Ballers are open to offers. There was two other teams in the chat that said they were open to offers.
Dream Chasers, or no, Dream Chasers.
Dream Chasers are shopping. That's been known verbally. They're shopping Neville or Neville. I apologize.
And Milt.
And Milt. It just listen. There's options everywhere, and there's teams who maybe they weren't verbal about it and they weren't in the chat in the moment of those discussions that are probably open to it too, man. But we're gonna share some of our general ideas, as to what we believe. I could think of 9 different teams that need a trade, and there's 9 teams in the league. But I'm just gonna stick to 2 or 3 different teams that I believe can move the needle a little bit. I don't know if the guys have the same concept there, but I'm gonna try and stick to 2 or 3 so we don't talk about this for too long.
You go one, I'll go one. How about that?
All right, so if we
Yeah,
each go
one.
one,
we each go one.
then I will start with I think. Man, now I gotta decide which one is the one I care about the most. I would say Prey. I'll say Prey to me is the team that has the biggest capability of making a big push to finish this season off if they can figure out a little bit different rotation, a little bit different landscape of that team. 2 things I think need to happen for them. Number one, obviously we discussed it already, that there needs to be accepting roles and playing a little differently and being willing to change what the players that you have are doing to help the team succeed. That's number one. I do believe, and this is a theory from head coach Patrick Triolo himself, and I agree with his theory, and I would like for them to try it out, is the concept of Danny Moore being their starting center going forward. I do like that idea because he is a more active, more mobile, and a little bit faster of a big. In most cases, power forward is the most fitting position for him, but because of the size of Prey, power forward is probably not the best look for him. So center is the next best option. Now, he's not an elite rim protector or an elite rebounder, but he is a role player that will contribute in those areas consistently as best as he can. And what you want is to get faster. So that being said, it's going to lead me to my next point. If they do pursue that idea and they do try that out, I genuinely do believe that at that point, there is no need to keep Brandon White. I do believe Brandon White should be used as a piece to get better in other places, whether it be to add shooting, whether it be to add more transition capabilities, because we know they are a bigger team. They move slower by default. I think Brandon White should be moved. I think plenty of options are available. Huh?
I have a trade. My suggestion is Brandon White, actually. And I have someone you could trade him for. I'll come into that right after.
I have a couple of options. I like the ideas that they were spitting in the chat with Bentley. I did like that idea a lot. But it did seem Dream Chasers was not open to trading Bentley, so I will have to take that off because I've been told not to suggest anything that is not on the table. However, for some odd reason, and for whatever reason that might be, Park Legends seems to be interested in Brandon White, even though they have 4 centers in their lineup already. But they do. So if they want to make poor decisions, then feed into it. And I would not be opposed to pursuing somebody like a Christian Sorry, like even an Ish to improve your defense in the perimeter, to improve the speed of your game, little things like that to help the aspects that they believe, and I kind of agree, can help them get better. Now, is that a guarantee possibility? I don't know, but someone like Jay Bird could also be a possibility. There's multiple avenues there. That's my take.
So my trade is coming from the park. I don't know if Brandon White is necessarily available, but everybody in that chat, almost everybody, is talking about acquiring Brandon White. There's been no confirmation he's even on the trade block. Assuming he is, though, because people wouldn't be saying this for no reason. You need size. You want to maintain your size. You want to maintain that rebounding ability. But I think you need speed, and I think you need shooting. Last year, Swift, you guys had this core together, and you played with Neville Rowe, who's currently on Dream Chasers. I want to see that man freed. I want to see him on a better opportunity to where he's not taking 2 shots one game and then 2 shots. I want to see him really open up. And I think that he really could. I think he would be perfect for Prey. He has the size that we talked about. He has the speed. He can handle the ball. But ultimately, he can shoot, which is, I think, what you really need. Just an additional shooter that's not, sacrificing that size for. You would be giving up Brandon White in this situation because that looks like, every team wants him currently. But I think that you might be able to live with it because you have Brandon White and you're not you at all. Brandon White does not want to post up. He wants to play more on the perimeter. You really don't open up any shots from out there. He doesn't take it too often. And even when he does, I mean, it works out very well for you, but you never go back to that. So I think at some point you have to move on from somebody or you have to change something. I think he's a great pickup for you. And there's a possibility you might be able to get Bentley out of it if you CP to make that trade. But right now he's on the trade block, so we're not going to worry. Neville
I like that for
Brandon White.
I think that's good.
Yeah, mine's just for line perception. I think there's a point guard right now who they can grab on a team that's also only lost this season. It's on Dream Chaser, and it's Hugh. I think you add Hugh to that Lions team. You have a true point guard with those wings. You have someone who deserves to be a starting point guard in this league, or at least an option. He's a great leader, of what I've heard so far.
He is. He absolutely is. I hear him. He is the only person I hear consistent communicating on Dream Chasers.
Exactly. And I think also he's someone who hasn't got an opportunity. I think that team, they don't give him the opportunity. I think that if the Lions are somehow, some way, can make a trade to grab him, and not only him, but Kels, if they can grab the both of those guys, you gotta figure it out, But if
Crazy.
more so,
That was supposed to be your job. You were supposed to figure it out and give them a suggestion.
That's
But
next year.
Kel?
But next year for sure, I think. I mean, not next year for sure, but for sure, Hugh. I think you can make a trade. I think the Dream Chasers could take a big man or someone on their team that they can use, like a bigger body. But I think you add Hugh to that mix, they're a way better team, way better team, and they have a true point guard. And that's the main one I saw that I think would be impactful to make a team be at least better than another team. And I think if Lions did something like that, they would be better than the Dream Chasers. That's just my assessment on that one.
You know what would be the trade of the season, ladies and gentlemen? As I've heard multiple times throughout the rumor mill, there is a player on the trade block who wants out. And there is a team who really wants him. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, get Willie Nunez out of OTB and bring him home to the Vipers, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to be missing Jose Melendez. They need to push for this move. But all jokes aside, I do believe that this is a move that they definitely should push for. Obviously, OTB is most likely just going to say no. It's a player who they are very fond of. But it's a move that I think, it's not a terrible idea to just hit up Bubba and Pink separately and let's have a real talk. No more jokes. No more Rachel's gift cards jokes. Let's have a real conversation for right now, right? What could we possibly do to make this happen? I think Vipers, although they are great, should try to orchestrate some way to get themselves a consistent, high caliber player because they just don't know what's going to happen with Jose. And I don't think Jose's schedule is a consistent thing. I don't think it's a matter of he knows when he's not going to be available. I think it's a matter of it could come at any time, right? So the Vipers are hoping and crossing their fingers that it pulls through for the rest of the season, but it's not a guarantee. So I do think the Vipers need to pursue a consistent high caliber player, and I think Willie can be that.
I like that because the other issue that we always talk about when it comes to the Vipers is size. They are smaller. I mean, they do have Ty and they have Liam who are big, but I think that they could use a little bit more size. Absolutely.
We think you think the Vipers struggle with size?
Yeah, I think the Vipers are one of the smaller teams in the league.
Tyrell, Ant Rice, and Liam Davis?
We always talk about Ant being small for his position. You literally said it on the recording. But then Liam and Ty, I said that they don't really count in that. Like they are their bigger pieces, but it's only them two. I think they could get bigger. Every other player, Gio, Rowe, Zay, Zoldo, like everybody else on the
Push
team is
Liam to a
scoring.
power forward. I get what Tyler's saying. Liam can play a power forward position.
No, Liam
I
would
mean,
play the center. You crazy?
Yeah,
but he can though. It's
why
possible.
did you just? He just tried to put that in Tyler's mouth. He's like, "Oh, this is what I heard Tyler say." This is like, what the
No,
hell?
Liam would play the center. Liam is a stretch 5. You keep him at the 5.
Liam's like
You don't
6'8",
put that
6'9". Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Liam could be Liam is a center anywhere he goes right now.
Liam, they're capping you, keeping you in your box, man. Get out of that box. You got this.
Dude,
I'm talking
yeah, but
shit.
I think on the Vapors he would look really good. I absolutely do.
Yeah, me too.
I have one other trade though.
What?
Go ahead.
Freeing Turon, giving Turon a better opportunity on multiple teams, but I think first off, City Ball. I had two, so I had Lions Perception, I had him going to Team Prey off of the bench, and then I also have him going to City Ballers. City Ballers, things have kind of changed now. They do have that vocal Kevin, but I think before they needed someone to kind of keep their heads in the game, someone to just yell at them, hold them accountable, and get them focused. And I think Turon would have been perfect. I want to see how this kind of experiment works out for them. Unfortunately, you may not have the option to do this trade if you do that. But I think having Turon off the bench, just communicating, orchestrating, reminding you guys that you have to play defense, reminding you guys where your man is, reminding you guys these fouls don't. I think he'd be really nice for you. And he's not really able to do anything on Dream Chasers because everybody just kind of wants their opportunity to shoot the ball, and it's not working.
Yeah.
I listen to the bench all the time.
I got one more, and this is one that I was thinking about with you guys on here. I know that Phil came up to us. He asked us a question. He asked us, and this is an answer I would give him. Believe it or not, I would go pursue Alton off Park Legends if I'm him. He fits what they do very well. He's good off the ball. Alton.
No,
Alton Jones.
On Park Legend.
No, what team does he fit very well?
City Ballers.
Oh, City Ballers.
There we go. I'm glad we finally got here. Good job. Let's go.
That's Tyler, you heard me, right?
Yeah.
No, I was asking, but I had to ask 3 different ways to finally get it.
Anyways, I got you. You got it. But what I'm saying is I think Alton fits them. I think he's a true guard. I think you can make a trade for a player that Park Legends might need, which is maybe a wing player. But I think that makes City Ballers a lot better.
Who would you trade off of the City Ballers?
If you could trade 2, I would give up Sparks, and I would trade him for Alton if I could do that straight up.
Well,
I
think
give up 2.
Huh?
You said 2.
Oh, what's that dude's name? The dude with the locks. Oh, never mind. He's on Dream Chaser. Never mind.
James?
Yeah, he's on Dream Chasers though, so never mind. But I think if you you can. The thing is, right?
He's on City Ballers.
James is on City Ballers.
He's on City Ballers.
No, the dude I'm talking about is on Dream Chaser. He's the dude with the locks. They put him on the trade block. They put him in the chat. The Dream Chaser said we were looking for a trade for him.
Or Neville.
Milt or Neville? Neville does.
Neville. It's Neville.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, that's why I said I got it mixed up. But regardless, I think you make a trade for Alton and you trade Sparks if they're willing to give it up. You have a player who can also come in for foots and play that guard position, who doesn't need the ball, who doesn't need to do anything, and Alton can guard from the 1 to the 4, and we've seen that. Not consistently the bigger people, but he can definitely guard those guards that they can't run around and guard. I think that's a really good way to solidify some defense, and to have a really good someone who's okay with coming off the bench and producing. And I think that right there, I think cements them as a really, really, really good team. But you got to work it out with TP for sure.
The question is, why would he want to Spark?
That one I couldn't work out. I would have to figure that out. Because I don't think they touch Trap. I don't think they touch Phil. I don't think they touch Kev. I don't think they touch Nick, and I don't think they touch.
Well, they can't touch Phil. He owns this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Crazy trading the owner.
but I don't think they touch Marquise either. But whoever you were gonna give up for the person that you mentioned to us, I'm pretty sure you can get the same. Like you can get some value out of that person for Alton for sure. I think so. With the person he
Listen,
mentioned to
Park
us, at
Legends want a
least.
big man. They do have Sedino over there. Park Legends are asking for Brandon White, so it sounds like they're interested in big men.
They could even do a 3-team trade. Send I'm not gonna make up that trade. Never mind.
Nah, do it.
Not off the top of my head.
This is what we're doing. I just want to hear it. Go ahead.
No, but I did have another one. Brandon White might be good on OTB as well. That might be a situation to look at, especially if Keith is not going to be there. You need a consistent big man because you put in Terrell at the 5, you're gonna injure him at some point. You can't keep doing this.
I had a crazy take.
Oh, yeah.
I had a crazy take that I was going to say, and I decided not to. But then you mentioned Brandon White to the OTB, so I feel like it is destiny to just go ahead and say it. I think it's like a sign from God. I was gonna say, whatever cash considerations you have to throw at OTB to make this happen, Brandon White for Josh Fillmore.
That would fix a lot for
Prey.
Oh, man, that'd be really good for Prey.
That would fix a lot for Prey.
That would also help OTB because we don't know if Keith is going to be there a lot. Man, that's tough. That's
I don't think it'll ever happen because of Josh's connection to the Squad X tree of players. But I'm just saying, from a basketball perspective, Josh has done nothing wrong. You're not trading him because he's doing something wrong. But in the grand scheme of things, you guys know better than us. Maybe you know something about Keith's availability. Maybe he's just going to be gone for the beginning of the season, and he'll be able to lock in for the later half. Who knows? I'm just saying. You never know. You never know. Something can come up. He's already missed they've played 4 games. He's missed 3 of them, right? That's only 2 more.
They've only played 2.
No, they've played at least 3 because they had one bye week. They played 4. They had one bye week, so they played 4. He's missed 3 of them, so he has 2 games left. You know what I mean? That until he's not eligible for the playoffs. And in my personal perspective, and this isn't me throwing shots at anybody, this includes anybody that it might apply to. If you're not going to be eligible for the playoffs, let me just use your roster spot for somebody else.
Yeah,
that can be. You know what I mean? Like we don't.
I want to win.
What's the point of creating team chemistry in the regular season if you're not going to be here for the playoffs? You know what I mean? Like let's just use your roster spot somewhere else. You get Brandon White, you get yourself a big man that can be available, maybe late every once in a while, but available at the very least. And Josh Fillmore fixes a lot for Prey. He's shown to be a playmaker.
Offensively.
He's shown to be a playmaker. He's shown to be a defender. He's shown the ability to knock down tough shots. He's shown the ability to be a leading scorer. He's shown the ability to be anything Prey could possibly ask him to be. I'm just saying, hit up Bubba. Consider it, Pat. Consider it. Just consider it. He might ask for some
the number one ability he's shown. The number one ability he's shown is his adaptability. He'll do anything you ask of him. When Melo's out, he almost gets a triple-double. When he comes back, he's a spot-up shooter. He's a defender. He's a facilitator when he's sitting. Yeah, I agree. Shout out Josh Fillmore. Players like Josh Fillmore are some of my favorite players in the league.
Yeah, he's
willing to do anything to win.
Yeah.
I love that.
100%.
No. He's super exciting. You're right, Tyler. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just agreeing with you. Like, he's fun. Like, he's like one of those players. As long as you're
repeating what I'm saying, it's okay. It's all right.
Nah, he's fun. He's fun. I do got one more trade, but this is like my Orlando thought process, right?
God.
I don't know if it's possible.
Are there 2 people involved in the trade, or are you just talking about
just one? Just one.
Why?
I don't know why NWO makes any trades, right? But there's one thing that NWO has a surplus of, and I think that is guards. They have a lot of guards. If I'm in a WO, just hear me out.
Like who exactly?
If I'm in W,
they only have 2.
3 if you count Alex.
Yeah.
Damn, never mind. This doesn't make sense. Never mind.
I literally. What guards did you think they have? I'd say they have a lot of forwards. That's what I would say.
I was gonna go try to tell them to go get Willie. Trey Stanton.
You know how many forwards they have? They have a lot of forwards.
But Willie can also like play that power forward with CJ if they're not gonna start AJ a lot of the times. Like, and he can also play with AJ, and I think it works very well. But I'm just saying that. I'm just saying. I think going for Willie isn't crazy for them because they have some players they can get to give to them. Like CJ can go, and I think if you trade CJ for Willie straight up, you have a starting center, and you also have someone who can fill in for CJ and do the things that CJ does. So I don't think that's dumb if you want a true big man.
Why
Just
would
saying,
OTB do that trade though?
because they get a true big man in CJ. They have someone who can play the big man, grab rebounds, and do the dirty work.
I
I
think
wouldn't, I
Willie's
wouldn't call CJ a big
taller
man.
than CJ.
I mean, he's their
Willie might
starting
average
center.
more. Willie might average more rebounds.
Yeah, Willie is
He's their
probably
starting.
Willie's more of a big man than CJ is.
Yeah, but CJ starts at center, right?
No, CJ comes off the bench.
Yeah.
For NWO, he started on center twice. Who's the starting center? Maybe I'm getting their names wrong.
AJ?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know his name. I have to be completely honest. But he's their OG player. I haven't learned his name yet. I apologize, CP. I know you hate that. I apologize.
What does he look like? I'll tell you.
Actually, I could probably pull him up really quick. But continue
Are
the
you talking about
conversation.
last name Noah? You talking about last name Noah?
Probably, yeah. That sounds very familiar. He started at center a couple
Yeah.
times, but not consistently. Not every game. I think. Towards
I see that too.
No, that's the wrong person. Emmanuel Renelis. That's who I've seen start at center. I remember the first time I noticed it on the court, and I was like, hey,
He has the tattoos, right? He has the tattoos.
never really noticed.
Wait,
I'm not gonna lie.
his jersey says Noah on the back. That's why I thought his last name was Noah. Yeah, it's him. I know
Is
who
it
you're talking
really?
about.
Not that dude.
Yeah.
That's the old head, not the old head. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
talking
he starts
about
at center for them a lot.
Yeah, he starts at center
He
for them.
does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably gets subbed out right away. Then. No.
It's between him and AJ at center usually, because AJ also plays center.
I take that take. Never mind. That doesn't make sense for them at all. I thought CJ was their starting center. I really did. I take that
I
back.
don't even know why you thought CJ was like a center. I consider him like a forward for them, but not really a center.
Yeah.
He is taller
I
than I
think he-
anticipated. I'll say that.
He's definitely a big man though. He plays like a big man. He rebounds, crashes
Yeah, I'd
boards,
say he's a power
gives the
forward
ball.
for them. I'd probably put him there.
Yeah. I just think, or if OTB wants, they go get Smith from the Lions, Keaton Smith. I think that's another great trade as well.
Keaton.
You pair him, Keaton, my bad, Keaton Smith. I think that's a really good pairing for OTB.
He
as
hasn't
well.
been playing lately. I gotta ask him what's going on with him. He hasn't been here the last
For
2
sure,
months.
for sure. But if he is available and they can make something wiggle out, I think he's a good addition for OTB as well. I think he would work really good with someone like Melo off cuts, offensive rebounds. He also works well with like someone like Keith. I think he's just a good defender as well. Grabs steals, adds pressure to the ball. You can put him on a lot of the wing players with throughout.
To who? To where?
To OTB. OTB.
For who?
I like that. It would.
Pluto has never planned the other part of these trades.
Yeah, no. I didn't know I had to find someone to trade them for.
That's how trades work, man. That's how a trade works.
So I was under the impression that we were building players that they should go target to get. I didn't think about the second half of who they would have to trade. I was just thinking about players that would fit with them very well.
We're trying to make it easy for the GMs right now, so they don't have to think about nothing. You know what? Shout out to Hooptalk, the podcast, on every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. They gave us some great insight, and we're going to make this trade.
I think
Pluto's sort of wrenching that.
But you got to figure out who to trade.
All right, well, let's figure out the rest of our day tier. We're going to be here forever. We got the upcoming games. We gave them enough game. That's free game, all right? Next week, we're going to charge for this game, all right? So we're going to talk about upcoming games for GM5. Park Legends is back on the schedule. They're going to have the first game of the week. And that is going to be against City Ballers. Park Legends versus City Ballers. I would say TP and Phil have developed a rivalry of some sort. Just based on how they interact on social media, they give off this rivalry energy. You know what I mean? I don't know if they will acknowledge it. I don't know if they believe that's how it is. But that's my perception of it. They give off this energy like, you know what? We want to beat you so bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
But this is the chance they get. Park Legends versus City Ballers. I'll go first. I have City Ballers. Here.
I like that. I have City Ballers as well. Make it really quick, short, and simple.
I apologize, TV, but I really like this City Ballers. I like this.
Here's the problem, though, and I think this is going to be what ends up biting me in the ass. I will stick with City Ballers, though. I do think they struggle when it comes to making the game hard for other teams. I do think they struggle with that, and they have two players on that side who are very. They play the game with a lot of ease, and that is Christian Sari and Dom Douglas. They play the game with a lot of ease. They take very easy shots. They take shots that they know they can make. They don't force anything, and I think that's going to be what bites them in the ass. So if they can be prepared to lock in and understand these are the threats, they win. And I don't know if they're going to listen to this advice, but I'm going to give it anyway. Make Nick Wallery the go-to guy. Make Nick Wallery the go-to guy, and I think you win this game. That's my opinion.
One other piece of advice: don't make this mistake. Phil cannot be the one defending Dom. Whoever's defending Dom is going to get into foul trouble, and if it is Phil, you're going to get upset. You're going to get annoyed because it's going to look like TP is kind of working the refs, and he's not. Don't fall into that trap of guarding Dom.
If
Dom's
it's me,
going to get at least 11 free throws. I'm putting trap on him.
100%.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If it's me, I put Phil on Christian, and I put Trap on Dom. Just because I think Christian is a less frustrating player to guard, if that makes any sense.
He's not going to get as many free throws. Dom's going to the cup every time.
Yeah, and referees love Dom, so you don't want that for Phil. And then we got Lion. Wait, did everybody give their take? Everybody said City Balls, right?
Yeah.
Then we got the Lions versus on the bench. This is their sixth straight mercy rule. There's no way around it. There is no way around it. If you believe otherwise,
OTV just lost to NWO. They're gonna be pissed off this game.
This is gonna be the game. This is gonna be Keith's second game. This is gonna be Keith's second game, and he's gonna drop 40. He's gonna drop 40.
Yeah.
If Keith shows up to this game, we're gonna find out by Friday, unless it's anything like last week where we found out nothing. Thank you, owners. But if they do it the right way, yeah, if they do it the right way, and we find out at least by Friday that Keith is gonna be there, I got Keith over. I got Keith over 25 points. I got Keith over 25 points.
That's light work, yeah.
I know, because I think they're gonna blow them out, and he's not gonna play that often.
Yeah, but the what you call it, the mercy rule don't kick into the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, but Pink is just gonna give Keith some rest at some point. Like, you don't have to keep
rest for what? He's been resting for the last 5 weeks.
Because Pink is a good guy. Pink is not just gonna put them in this situation where they're gonna.
Pink does sub his players in the fourth quarter if they're up.
Yeah.
This is like freaking who's the player that made resting so notorious? Who was it?
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi. There was somebody else I feel like got so much heat for it. Damn. I don't know, man, but that's what it reminded me of. I used to hate it. Just resting every other. Joel Embiid. God, man, this is another Joel Embiid situation where it's like you say that you can't play, but can you really not play? You know what I mean? Man, make that man suit up. This what
man
he
has
owes
no cartilage in his knee. to keep this in mind, he has no cartilage in his knee anymore. It's completely removed. Nas has his opinions.
I got Keith over 25 if he shows up, which is obviously not the best bet to make because that showing up part is crucial.
I'm going to ask in the chat if Keith watches this video, and if he does, I'm not going to make a bet, but if he doesn't, I'm going to stick with this bet under 25. I'm taking the under. If he doesn't watch.
All right. I wanted to make this bet by myself, so if somebody's going to take it, I'm taking it off the table.
Coward.
But that's it. Everybody got Lions?
What?
I'm sorry, OTB, my bad. Everybody got OTB? That wasn't even a joke. That was an accident, my bad. What the fuck am I thinking, OTB, right? Dream Chasers versus Count Up. I'll take Count Up on this one. Dream Chasers just hasn't shown me enough.
Yeah, I'll take Count Up. I'm definitely taking Count Up.
Did you say Count Up?
Yeah, Count Up.
Yeah, Count Up, absolutely.
No. And then we got New West Orlando versus Prey.
Sounds
I got
like a trap game.
I got New West Orlando.
Yeah, I don't think so. So the issue with going against NWO is they're just as fast as the other team, but they're also your size. So they're faster than you, and they're the same height. I got them.
Yeah, I got NWO.
Yeah, I got NWO. I don't know what I'm talking about. They're going undefeated this season, NWO.
No, I'm not going to defeat it. I'm going to take OTB versus them on their second match.
You want to bet money on that? We can bet money on that right now. Pluto.
Burger, call me first.
No. I'm talking to you.
What's the rest of their schedule?
It doesn't matter. We said the rest of the season.
Wait, what do you mean?
What's the rest of the schedule for the season? I'm just talking the season, regular season. What's their schedule? Help me out.
They probably got to play every team twice at least. I don't know anything more than that.
Can't be twice because
close to twice.
Yeah.
All right.
You sounded confident before you did the schedule. Wow.
Right. Now all of a sudden, now you got to see a schedule.
Burger, do you hear this? This is the man you give a shirt to?
Right.
There's no confidence here at all.
Fuck it. We ride with them boys. Let's go. NWO undefeated this season.
All right, I got you.
Tyler always be trying to play gangster.
Yeah, we're gonna put the bets in the chat.
We all got NWO though. Team Praise, they gotta figure something out, man. And this is the week to do it. And then the Vipers have themselves. Yeah, the Vipers have themselves a bye week. We had one extra topic for the day, but obviously we're going into an hour and 30 minutes, and we want to make sure our audience is happy with what they have to watch. And we've had some complaints about long episodes in the past. So we are going to take those to the heart and improve. That's what a podcast is supposed to do. So we'll cut it short here. We kept the GM5. GM5, they have so much fun stuff going on, man. Y'all got to make sure y'all go tap in with them. You can watch it live and see the action. It's very exciting. Or you can catch the clips on our site. Or you can do both, man, if you just love the games that much. That OTB versus NWO was phenomenal.
Also, really quick, sorry to cut you off. We are planning some events that we're going to be talking about. And we will end up most likely hosting them within GM5 of some way. Some events around the season, so be on the lookout for that as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. We got a lot of stuff. I'll give one last shameless plug. That'll take me a couple seconds before we wrap it up. I'm here on behalf of the FBA to let you guys know that the E-League will have its winter season coming up here in November. Deadline to sign up is October. So players, coaches, or even team owners who are interested in participating, make sure you go tap into the FBA page on Instagram at FBA Hoops and DM. Ask all the questions you want. Feel free to ask me questions. I'm tapped in. I can answer whatever questions you have as well. Hit us up in the comments section, DM us on Instagram, or just direct everything to the FBA. But the E-League winter season is going to be coming up soon. We're even going to have an E-League select team this time around. So we're going to have some free agents that are not going to be able to find homes when they go to the showcase, whatever the case is. We're going to put together a select team and allow them to compete and showcase their ability and potentially catch the eye of FBA team owners or whatever the case might be and get themselves opportunities to play in the FBA in the future or E-League teams in the future as well. So opportunities are endless, man. All the details are on Instagram. If you have questions, we answer very fast. So let us know. If you have any questions, concerns, or curiosities, we'll be more than happy to help. Tap in with the FBA. It's going to be some fun times this summer. Winter, I apologize. But that's it.
Also,
never mind.
We're going to have something very interesting for you in winter. Very, very interesting. We'll be talking about that here very soon.
Yes, indeed.
And in spring.
I didn't know we had something in spring. But that's cool, though. That's the end of the podcast. That is episode 5. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, that comment button, and that share button. Every single button matters. We love y'all, even if you only press 1. But I really would love it if you press all 4. Hoop Talk out. Deuces.
Deuce.
Every time you don't subscribe, a hooper misses a shot.